You don't notice it the first time. That's the point. It doesn't look like a test. It looks like nothing. Just a small pause in the conversation, a slight shift in tone, a moment where everything feels normal, but something invisible just got triggered. It usually starts when things are going well. You've had a few good interactions. She's warm, responsive, maybe even a little playful. You feel momentum building, and then suddenly she pulls back. Not dramatically, not enough for you to call it. Sometimes the answer isn't what she did, it's how you reacted when she did it. Just enough to make you feel it. A delayed reply, a shorter message, less emotion. And if you're not paying attention, you'll think she's busy. But if you feel that subtle drop in energy, that's when the invisible test begins. Here's the scenario. You send her something light, maybe a joke referencing something you both laughed about before. Before, she would have replied instantly, maybe added something to it. This time, 2 hours, then a dry LOL. That's it. No follow-up, no question, no energy. Just enough to keep the conversation alive, but barely. And now your mind starts working against you. You reread your message. You wonder if it was off. You consider sending something else to fix it. That's the moment she's watching, without looking like she is. Because this test isn't about your words, it's about your reaction to uncertainty. Most men fail right here, and they don't even realize it. They think attraction is about doing more effort, more charm, more attention. So when they feel her pulling back, they lean in harder. They double text, they ask if everything's okay. They try to bring the energy back up to where it was, and that's exactly what breaks it. Because the invisible test isn't about whether you can create attraction. It's about whether you can maintain your center when attraction becomes unstable. When she pulls back, she's not asking, "Can you win me over?" She's asking, "Do you lose yourself when I stop giving me validation?" And here's the contradiction most guys don't understand. The more you try to fix the drop in energy, the more real that drop becomes. Because now it's not just her pulling away, it's you chasing. And that imbalance changes how she sees you instantly. Before, you were the guy she was naturally engaging with. Now, you're the guy reacting to her. And that shift is subtle, but it's everything. Attraction doesn't die because she lost interest. It dies because you showed her that your emotional state depends on her consistency. What makes this test dangerous is how invisible it is. She won't tell you she's doing it. She won't even consciously label it as a test. It's instinctive. She just feels the need to pull back slightly and observe, not your words, not your logic, your emotional stability, your ability to stay grounded when the dynamic changes. Because anyone can be confident when things are going well, that's easy. The real signal comes when things become unclear. That's when your behavior reveals who you actually are. Let's go deeper into the micro details. When she sends that delayed, low-energy reply, she's not just looking at if you respond. She's watching how long you take, the tone you use, whether your message feels like a reaction or a continuation of your own frame. If you reply instantly with more energy than she gave, it signals an imbalance. If you suddenly become overly casual to compensate, it feels forced. But if your response carries the same grounded tone you had before, unaffected, unbothered, that's when something shifts in her perception, not consciously, but emotionally. Because here's the hidden truth. The invisible test isn't about pulling you away. It's about seeing if you pull yourself out of position. She creates a small vacuum just to see if you rush in to fill it. And most men do. They can't tolerate the silence, the ambiguity, the slight loss of control, so they act. They try to regain certainty, but in doing that, they expose something deeper: neediness, impatience, dependency. And once that's seen, it's hard to unsee. There's also a timing layer most people miss. She doesn't run this test when she's unsure about you. She runs it when she's starting to feel something. That's what makes it counterintuitive. The test doesn't come from disinterest, it comes from potential interest. It's a filter, a way to protect herself from investing in someone who can't handle emotional fluctuation. So when you interpret her pullback as rejection, you're already misreading the situation. It's not rejection, it's an evaluation. And this is where men sabotage themselves the most. They try to decode her behavior instead of managing their own. They analyze the timing of her texts, the words she uses, and the emojis she didn't include. But none of that matters as much as how they show up in response. Because the invisible test doesn't care about your interpretation, it cares about your stability, your ability to remain unchanged when the environment shifts slightly. Imagine two different responses. In one, you feel the drop in her energy and immediately try to bring it back. You send another message, maybe something more engaging, maybe even a question to keep her talking. It feels logical, but underneath, it's reactive. In the other, you notice the same drop, but you don't chase it. You respond when it makes sense. You keep your tone consistent. You don't try to force momentum. You let the interaction breathe. One response comes from control. The other comes from needing control. And she can feel the difference, even if she can't explain it. What's even subtler is how she reacts after your response. If you stay grounded, she often re-engages. The energy comes back. Not immediately, not dramatically, but gradually. A slightly longer reply, a question, a bit more warmth. It's like she tested the waters, didn't feel resistance or desperation, and decided it was safe to step back in. But if you fail the test, the opposite happens. Her replies get shorter, more delayed. Eventually, the conversation fades. And from your perspective, it feels like she just lost interest. But the truth is, she observed something that made her pull away. This is why the invisible test is so powerful. It filters without confrontation. There's no argument, no clear rejection, no dramatic ending. Just a slow shift based on your behavior. And because it's so subtle, most men never learn from it. They just move on, thinking it was bad luck or bad timing. They don't realize the same pattern is repeating with different women over and over. The takeaway isn't to play games or act indifferent. That's another mistake. Forced detachment feels just as unstable as neediness. The real shift is internal. It's being okay with not controlling the outcome. It's understanding that attraction isn't built by constant input, but by how you handle space, silence, uncertainty. Because those are the moments where your true emotional position is revealed. And once you see this, you can't unsee it. You start noticing the patterns, the slight pullbacks, the pauses, the changes in tone. But instead of reacting, you observe. You stay steady. And ironically, that's what keeps the dynamic alive. Not effort, not a strategy, just consistency in who you are, regardless of what she does. If you've ever felt like things were going perfectly and then suddenly faded for no clear reason, there's a good chance you've already experienced this test. You just didn't recognize it at the time. Now you do. So the next time you feel that subtle shift, don't rush to fix it. Don't chase clarity. Just stay where you are. Let her come back to you, or not. Either way, you don't move. If this hits something real for you, don't just scroll past it. Like the video so more people actually see this. Drop a comment if you've experienced this kind of situation, and share it with someone who keeps asking why things suddenly change without explanation. Sometimes the answer isn't what she did, it's how you reacted when she did it. Because the invisible test isn't about her pulling away, it's about whether you follow.